that one right there, it will be a good comparison. Okay, so they got the assignment. What you see here, before I get to this one, are two different ways of approaching the assignment, both of which are correct. Now, just to review the idea that you have a 3 by 3 inch square, and of course you're marking it off at specific points, your choice, as long as the points are consistent, and once they hit it consistently, they will hook up in all kinds of surprising ways because you consistently hit that point at the edges. Well, this one creates really cool, loopy, interesting designs, and this one creates shapes, right? Now, both are correct. Both will create shapes, both could be used with lines. Notice, however, that this one deals with the idea differently than this one does. And in fact, they figured it out right here, differently from here. Now, without either one of you guys saying what you saw, why is this one, in what way is this one kind of significantly different from what I originally said? But still right, can you tell?
The circle in the middle. The circle in the middle.
Yeah, but they're trying to get it off to the side, right?
Wait, say it again?
Okay, you know how the assignment says you have to touch these points exact? And I'm saying, well, they both do that because they both match up. But this one's doing something different than that one's doing, in the way that it matches up. Really? You know. Okay, look.
Well, I can see that some of the lines, like this one, is not really touching this one.
Look at the difference in the designs.
Is it like, because my shapes are like thick and shapes, and these are like lines, and they actually touch the points exactly.
You know, it's so interesting. You guys are still looking in the middle. Look at how on the edges, none of these lines touch exactly the middle or the edge.
Oh.
See? And yet they work. Like none of them touch there, 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 and there. But what they figured out is it has to touch on one square on either side of it. See how it's thicker? And then here it's on one side, square on either side of it. And here it's on, this one is a little off because that one.
I see.
Oh, yeah. And so like this one right here, it doesn't quite match up in the middle.
Yeah.
But if it came to one square over, you're seeing it now. And so what happens is here, see how every once in a while there's this, and it's because this one's just moves over just that little bit. Now, sometimes that can be kind of cool. Other times it's maddening. Like, why isn't this working? So, Mariana was seeing lines, but the lines were still making positive and negative shapes. Shannon is seeing shapes or thick lines and didn't know what you were really doing, but it worked out most of the time. Okay, so if you feel like these start getting tangled, which, you know, is pretty tangly, then you might want to think about making them thicker like that. You know, get a little thickness. So that's why you're getting the difference. Now, both are right, so let's take a look at this. So now what's happening is these are both the same pattern, right? I mean, this one is a negative of that.
Yeah.
And, oh, this one's,
Yeah.
this one? But are they the same module? Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Did you, this one turned sideways. Okay. Okay, so same square made both of those. Pretty cool, huh? You wouldn't think so, right? Even slowed me down. Now, here's something cool. When you look at that one and that one, you're fixing them some, adjusting them some, okay. This one could still make flower shapes. This one, sorry. this one, and this one are the same ones. If you were to repeat the corners, you'd get more designs. And you may remember that I mentioned that if we do this, you know, and you fold it around like that, you'll start seeing the way the designs hook up. Okay. Okay, now let me do, I'm slowing down because I'm trying to figure out what's the best way to explain something. Okay, if each one of these, see the ones with dots? If each one of those was the same color, they would look like background. However, what if this one was red, yellow, blue, and green? If this one was red, yellow, blue, and green, they would no longer make the continuous pattern they were making. So it might be that when you're doing some of these colors, that if this and this were the same color, it'd look like that's the background, right?
Well, how many colors can we use?
As many as you want,
Okay.
but you want it to be a pattern. If you use every color in the world, it's not a pattern, it's just every color in the world. But you can do some cool stuff, like see how this pattern seems to move? Elena, look at just this dots. See the dots? If they were all the same color, you'd have squares. So if you had something like this that was moving, and say this was orange and this was blue, but each one of these was red, I'd get red squares, right? But if this was red, and this was red, and this was yellow, and this was yellow, I'd get red diagonals and yellow diagonals. If this was red and this was red, and this was yellow and this was yellow, I get red dots and yellow dots, right? So you can mess with somebody's head big time. So one of the things, so Elena, Shannon got these two black and whites out of the same module. Okay, so now on Mariana's, she's gonna drive herself insane, which apparently she likes to do. So here you can see, same module, two real different patterns. Isn't that fun to look at? Now, sometimes it's hard to see. Let me put a piece of light on here. Here's where I want us to move towards. When you look at these, there should be umpteen billion color patterns that you can do in here. So sometimes you have to like really change the way you see it. Did you start seeing shapes, Mariana, that you wanted to bring out, or was it just totally confusing?
I was just following the technique of rotating and matching the points, and then I was like, I don't know where it's gonna lead me to, but I'll figure out later.
Okay, so you're up for suggestions.
Yeah.
It could be that I see kind of these, it's got so much going on. I'm trying to choose something simpler. Okay, see how this looks like Lisa Simpson's head?
Yeah.
Right?
Where?
Here, right here, right?
Oh, yeah.
That
I see
shape?
it, yeah.
If all of these shapes were yellow, not that I want to make them
Oh, that
into,
would be pretty cool.
yeah, they're almost like these weird profile shapes, aren't you know what I'm saying? Like cartoony shapes. And yet I could also see almost like a flower bud shape here. So let's look at this one. Now,
I didn't mean that line. Yeah, that was nice.
you knew it was
Yeah,
like
I
the
knew it
wrong
was
thing
wrong.
to do.
That's
Yeah,
it,
okay. Yeah, because there's some very cool stuff going on here. It's just that was, yeah, that's the screw up. That's okay. See, now, let's say you're gonna get a box right here with two explosions coming out of it, right? And so like if this is red and these are yellow, then that means that this one would be yellow, this one would be yellow, and you just make all explosions yellow coming out of a red box, right? Well, then is this a blue box or a green box? Like what's happening here? And you've got crazy stuff you could do because there's almost like sea blob shapes here.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah. See, so like if on this one right here, let's say that's like coral and pale orange, like a sea blobby thing, and this is blue and this is green.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, then it looks like square water with,
That's cool.
yeah. So then what happens on this is by the time you get one module making two patterns that then you can add color to in any way you want, it starts getting like yada, 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 yada cool, right? So here's where I wanted to be with moving forward is this. Okay, a couple of things. This doesn't touch edges, so it won't match up, right?
Ooh, this one does.
And then, okay, you can try that, but does it touch all edges consistently? Okay, so Dustin, is that yours?
Which one?
The one with the X in it?
This one?
This one in the middle, that one.
That one's fine.
Yeah, do you see how if you cut this into quarters? Did you already do that? This is your module.
I kind of interpreted the things bad again, the instructions bad again.
So that's what crits are for, and as long as Dustin shows up, you know, it's really funny because I see you're seeing this, you know, we talked about it. Here's the thing, Dustin shows up with this. I'm like, he looks at this, he's like, oh shit, yeah, now I know what she wants. Then all he has to do is go home, do this bigger. He has until midnight to post it, and I'm like, great, now I know what you need help with by Thursday, right? So it's kind of, you know, if Dustin's done this, and Dustin shows up with this, and Dustin's read the assignment, and then goes, oh, I know how to fix it, I'm like, we did what we needed to do. Now, this one, is that yours in the very edge? That's yours. I think that, okay, can you tell me what's wrong with it? Wrong. Can you tell me what needs to happen with it?
I need to erase the lawns and that,
See what?
the lawns, the boxes, so that I don't connect.
Yeah, you got it. I think they could be more, are you having to fudge it a little bit, or is it actually
Well,
cutting?
I want to go more in depth into doing another, but that was kind of my rough start.
Well, you know, on this one, it's actually kind of a good, if you took away the boxes, it's actually kind of a good example of what we're talking about, because you're gonna get this when this repeats there, right? And so you're starting to see maybe what some in-between shapes are gonna look like with that. And so again, if you made all of these dots the same color versus if they went from, it's just a pink and black. I'm teasing. See, she's got two that go together. Sorry, kiddo. So if these went from like dark to light to dark, or were two different colors, you're far enough along so that you can move forward, okay? Now,
It was wrong, but I'm pretty sure I did it wrong.
what do you think you did wrong?
I don't think I did like the, you know, how it's supposed to like touch every,
See, so who can tell me where it's getting off? Like, that's the thing, is not just knowing how to do it right, but how to figure out what to look at. See, I see it hits a corner here, but nowhere else. So that's a big tip off there. If, you know, probably the easiest thing to do is not make that hit a corner. And then, Shannon, you're pretty quick at this. What are they doing? What do you think is the quickest solution to get that evened out?
maybe just by using a ruler, maybe? Then you can just line it up, maybe?
Possibly, that could be like a really drastic suggestion. Yeah, or the other one is, look, if, let's see, if this one hits on the heavy blue line, then this one should hit on a heavy blue line, then this one hits on a heavy blue line, this one hits on a heavy blue line, heavy blue line, heavy blue line. Seems to me starting with the heavy blue lines gets it there fastest. Do you see how I saw that pretty quick? Because I knew what I was looking for. Okay, can we get this up Thursday by midnight so we'll be on track for, yeah? Okay, sketchbook time, tonight by midnight, sorry.
One more question.